Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday afternoons Talking Town, the first of two shows on a Sunday. Obviously, we've got the flagship podcast, which is what this is, and then we are live this evening, 8:45 for the last word. Myself, Rich, and Vicky Henderson are live this evening, and we're live right now, and we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts and feelings following 3-4 defeat in a show I've titled Score 3, Get Farke, because sadly, we scored 3 and we got absolutely nothing out of the game. But what are you thinking today? Are you positive despite the defeat? I was a little bit positive. You've seen my match reaction last night. Are you feeling we've got a little bit to go if we're going to be a top contender in this division? Or are you here to vent? It's a place to do any of those things. It's your opinion. Only you know it, and only you can say it in the words you truly feel. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to Talking Town, and we are trying to make a push for the FCA, which is a Football Content Award. You can vote via the link in the chat right now. Best Club Content Creator, Talking Town, hashtag ITFC. And you can also vote on Twitter. Both pieces of information are already in the chat, and I would be incredibly grateful and forever grateful, really, if you could vote for us. We've got Stuart in the chat here. Afternoon, Gov and Talking Town crew. Yesterday's game has made me realise that I'm out of practice at dealing with a defeat. Moby says Fisherman's fuming on socials. Just as night follows day and day follows night. Just is. Stephen Parrott, I can take defeat because we will lose if we give it all, and they did. John B, afternoon all. Had to happen sooner or later. Some great comments here. Mike D, defending in the first half reminded me of Wednesday game where we had a mad 20 minutes. Also, Russ's goal was like Stockton's first in the 2-2 of Morecambe. Wolf, bad defending for that. Also, Nick Muller says anyone going to Reading also says it's a slip up as well in the chat. Thanks for your comments. Stephen Parry, the thing that there was things to work on, but a lot of positives too, given they're a team worth 10 times ours and can buy whoever they want. Hello, man. Hope you're well. Max Pitchford, relatively positive, but disagree with Chaplin and McKenna. Don't think we're the better team. Do you think we're the better team? Do you think we were unlucky not to walk away yesterday with at least a point, potentially all three? One of the biggest things I took away was 3-1 down. They showed that determination, that courage to get themselves back into the game. Sadly, obviously, didn't get anything out of it, but you got yourselves back in the game, 3-1 down to a quality team. That shows real commitment, real desire, real effort. Right, hit the like, hit subscribe. Let's get into the nitty-gritties. There'll be a link. If you don't get on today's show, 8:45 tonight, live. If you watch it on catch-up, hello. Hope you had a great time, whatever you were doing. Leave a comment. Anything you hear through the show, anything you want to say, leave a comment, and I'll try and get back to as many as I possibly can. Right, with me this afternoon is the man from
the Media Mogul.
We've just lost the teenagers. It's absolutely embarrassing.
Matt Phillips.
Quite teenagers, but we did get defeated. Are you embarrassed by the defeat, as you were all those moons ago when we got beat by Arsenal under 21s?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No?
Hey, losing to Arsenal 21s in the old, whatever it was then, Johnston Paints or whatever, that was embarrassing. But nothing embarrassing about yesterday. Very good performance. A little bit shaky in the defence for 10 minutes, but we can live with that. You know, this is our first month back in the Championship. You know, I said to you yesterday, you got a team that was in the Premier League last season, meeting a team that was in League One, and the two meet in the middle, and we see what happens. And it was a very entertaining game. I enjoyed it, and I think we didn't win the game, but there's lots to learn from.
Yeah, and that's absolutely, I think, what the overriding factor is. Obviously, there's a lot of chat in there in regards to Chaplin and McKenna's comments about we were the better team. Would you say we were the better team yesterday?
Yeah, difficult one. No, I would say because of the defensive lapse we had, I would probably say no. But you know, they came back superbly well, and I saw some quotes where McKenna said he thought we were on top for about 90% of the game. Therefore, I would only presume the 10% was the 3 goals we gave away in quick fire fashion. Whether or not we deserve to point estate, not sure. But then, if I'd said to you we're going to score 3 goals at home to Leeds, before the match started, you'd
Yeah.
think we'd be nailed on for maximum points.
Yeah, but this is it. This is why I've started the show score 3, get fuck all, because you scored 3
That's a
against
headline.
I know. You
Good
scored
at these
3 against the
Daniel.
Daniel Farke team, and you would expect to perhaps walk away with at least 1 point. Ben Moore says he watched it back this morning. They took their chances and we didn't. That's football at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Pirro had the time and space yesterday and we managed it okay, but not well enough.
Yes.
Ben Moore says Jackson has to start for him. I completely agree with that. I'm sure we'll get through the course of the game as it was. 2 questions to sort of kick us off. First of all, has come from the chat. I'll part what I was just thinking a second ago, because Joe S says, I think Ashton and Game Changer need to decide what they want from this season. This team finishes 10th or 11th comfortably. McKenna will then be snapped up next summer, or 5 to 6 million in the market this week, and we can push the top 6. Now, yesterday, if this is one of the division's best teams, and everyone did their season prediction previews, thoughts, predictions, they would have put Leeds somewhere inside the top 4. I'm absolutely no doubt about it. They've got 70 million plus worth of quality up front, and it showed. But yesterday, you're a boxing man, I'm a boxing man. That was 2 heavyweight boxers, toe-to-toe, pound for pound, punch for punch, and we held with them. They got away in rounds 2, 3, and 4, if you want to put it in a boxing contest terminology, and went 3-1 up. But they showed the desire, the commitment, the determination to get themselves back into the match, back into the bout. But we didn't have that right quality at the right times. We missed George Hurst. Caden Jackson will get to on how we saw his game. But it is Joe S here. Have they got to decide what they want, what the actual goal is, and whether the ambition in the next 5 days will tell us where they feel that goal is?
Yeah, I totally agree with Joe S here. In fact, me and Mike Woods on the train back to Essex were discussing this very point. You know, we've not spent the same. Look, we've got the same aspirations of Leeds, I think, to do as well as we can in the division. Now, Leeds, obviously, with their financials and the parachute papers and all that kind of thing, and the talent they've got in their squad, are looking for an immediate return. We don't really know what Ipswich are trying to do. Now, we've seen it. I know yesterday was the first time I was in the stadium, saw the Premier League pitch, how they've changed up the stadium and everything. We can say there's Premier League aspiration there, but is that this year, next year, 2 years down the line? Is it a 5-year plan? The Sheepshanks 5-year plan, famously. I mean, McKenna said, "Look, it's going to be steady progress for us." But if you really look at, because you're now in the division where you're just one below the Premier League, the Golden Land, right?
Yeah,
the land of milk and honey, the riches and all that. Are we actually going to? Yeah, exactly. Now, Leeds have shown you what they're going to do. They've bought Joel Perreault for 10 million quid. We've started the game with Caden Jackson up front, who most of his career has been in League One or League Two. Yeah. And he's done like a season in the Championship. Now, that is polar opposites. Not that I've got anything against Caden. I thought we did all right yesterday. But then you start thinking, and then you spent 1.5 million on Hurst, and everyone's talking about him being really good. They got Jorginho Rutter up top, 36 mil from Hoffenheim.
Didn't show as well.
What I think this tells us is this week is now a pivotal thing. And Rich said to me on the phone last night when I got home, this is the week where Ashton's going to earn his money, because now we've worked out whether or not we're going to be trying to consolidate in the Championship, or we actually think, can we use the start we've had, and it's been a very good start, as a platform to try and hit the top 6. Big questions to be asked this week. We know Leeds want to go straight back up. We don't really know what the true ambition of Ipswich Town is. Like I say, promotion, playoffs, consolidation. I think this week's and the window is going to tell us.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And obviously, we'll be here every day, every step of the way, and trying to give you as much information as we can, as we find. So you haven't got to go and search behind paywalls and whatnot. But the simple case is, Matt, we aren't going to go and spend £10 million on a striker. You wouldn't have thought. But if you want to be a top 6 team, you're going to have a little bit about you. And yesterday, Caden Jackson, having spent the last 14 months under McKenna, last 12 months under McKenna, as a winger, is suddenly now viewed as a striker, which is fine. He started his career as a striker. He was moved to the wing, but he's probably better out wide. And he had a good game yesterday, and we'll get to his performance yesterday. But you've got nobody who really, for me, is competing with Wes Burns. You've got a young player in Amari Hutchinson who is very young, very raw. Is he going to change more games than he comes on and is ineffective? I don't know. I've not seen enough of him, but my gut says he's not going to change that many games, if I'm honest. Might be wrong. outside of that, what have you got? You've got 1.5 Jack Taylor, who at 3-2, Massimo Luongo on a yellow card.
Yeah.
Isn't brought on until it's 4-2, another 10 or 15 minutes after a 50-50 where Massimo can't make the tackle. He's on a booking.
Yeah. Were we all?
There's a little bit missing, isn't there?
Were we all saying that then? As soon as he got that yellow, I said to David, sits next to me. And by the way, David, happy birthday for last week, and hope it all goes well for you this week. As a belated birthday, I said,
happy birthday, David.
Yeah,
who you are.
In there for you, David. Best of luck for the week coming up. Yeah, I turned around to David and said to him, let's get Luongo off here. Because you got your two central midfielders on yellow, and he wasn't having the best of games. I mean, I think he's been fantastic for us. I'm not suddenly saying he's going to be out of the side after you have a bit, below par game against the team that was in the Premier League last season. But the flip side of that coin, got Jack Taylor waiting in the wings, and he looked quite bright when he came on. Had a shot, didn't he? The old Meslier had to save. I mean, look, if we're looking towards next week at Cardiff, just take Reading out of the equation for a minute. But if we're looking next week, another home game at Reading, maybe there is and we've now suffered our first defeat. Maybe this is the moment you bring Taylor in and let Luongo have a little bit of a rest, perhaps. But he's not let us down at all, really. I'm not going to give him. I'm not, after one game against Leeds United, I don't think you sort of put anyone in the bin particularly. But you may look at a 4-3 defeat, and McKenna might say, okay, maybe we freshen it up after the good start we've had in August.
I'll counter that because I got sent a lovely sort of game review by one of the viewers, and it says Morsey and Luongo are really solid. There's no dynamism. I can't even say the word. Dynamism. I can't even say the word.
I know what you mean. I can't say it really.
I can't say the word.
Right.
This geezer's obviously much more brighter than I am. That's the fella. In the midfield, just grit and tidy passing. Do we really need that? Need two doing that all game?
Well, look, it's not let us down thus far up until yesterday, had it? The irony of being, of course, is Archie Gray was in midfield for Leeds, 2 years younger than Amari Hutchinson. Everyone's going, oh, he's young, and what's he going to do? I mean, look,
he's very talented.
Yeah,
he's very talented. Yeah, you could see that, couldn't you?
Yeah. From the Gray dynasty of Leeds.
The pedigree was there, yeah.
And Ampadu, of course, has been around the block. What, Chelsea, Bournemouth, he's 8 million quid in there. Spent most of the time on the floor, didn't he? But it is what it is. But yeah, they are solid, and it has worked. It's worked. I mean, look, we did say, have we rode our luck a little bit in the first few games? Yes, we probably have. But it's been quite a good mix. We did. Yes, I think it's been a good mix though. You play opening day, we played a team that was in the playoffs last season. Then you play a team that's been kind of mid-table for God knows how long. Stoke blew them away. Then QPR, wounded animal, Ainsworth job maybe under threat. We go there and do a smash and grab, got the 1-0. And then yesterday, probably, we did say Friday night, don't sleep on Leeds. Was it a good time to be playing Leeds? Probably quite a bad time to be playing Leeds, actually. We thought maybe playing them early. But actually, the fact they've got Perot in, then old Jonto comes back into the frame. It's probably a bad time to play them because they sort of sorted out their internal problems and then got a quality striker in at the same time. But
I liked him, by the way. He played with a big smile on his face, and I always like a player who plays. Yeah, he plays a big smile on his face. He's always.
You like that? Yeah. Doesn't sound like he's been a very smiley character behind the scenes.
No, it doesn't. Does it? No. But he was certainly all the time smiling. And I just thought he's having fun. And as a fan, it's quite nice to watch a player do his job but have fun. Yeah. Like he's actually really enjoying being out there in the occasion. But no, I think you're right. We all thought maybe best time, but it probably wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think I've got the impression he was maybe mates with Davis.
Yes,
they were pushing each other and they high-fived each other. So maybe that was, going back to that. But yeah, he come out of Switzerland, didn't he? Zurich, originally in Inter Academy. But I think the midfield duo of Morsey and Luongo has served us well. It's now whether or not we move into Cardiff next week in a new month, and whether or not we just freshen it up a little bit. Maybe we do.
How did you see the midfield 2 performance, Morsey and Luongo? Because I messaged the group WhatsApp at about 35 minutes, and I kind of said tongue in cheek, has Massimo touched the ball yet? Like, he was very, for me, slow in getting into the game. He had to work his way into the game. Once he worked his way into the game, Massimo was Massimo. Good on the ball, tidy. But it took, for me, an age for him almost to get in the game without watching the whole game back. I'd have to confirm or say that's incorrect. That's what it felt like live.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Whereas Morsey, I said on the Match Reaction show last night, I wish I had 2 Sam Morseys because he is such a phenomenal player. He's gritty, he tackles, and his ball control is so, so sticks to him. it sticks to him, and he
Yeah,
can
he doesn't
turn
lose
and he
it.
can shield.
Yeah.
And I just wish we had two of him in midfield, because I think yesterday, when the quality of the opposition was rising, he went with it and he upped
Yeah.
his game at every step. Now, fans will disagree with that. We'll come to comments in a second, I'm sure, because Morsey's he wasn't the greatest game, some have said, whereas some have agreed with me. How did you see the midfield too?
Yeah, I thought they might dominate a little bit more than they did, considering the experience that's in there. And, you know, they're both tough tacklers, Morsey and Luongo. I thought maybe they could bully Ampadu and Gray. Certainly Gray, I thought they could maybe get on top and, you know, but he was quite a composed character for his years. Bloody hell, what was I doing at 17? Certainly weren't playing in front of 30,000 people for Leeds United.
No. WKD Blues is probably what I was doing when I was 17.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, a lot of the game was played down the channels, wasn't it? Certainly in that first half, we were having a lot of success down the left-hand side. That Davis run in. Oh, I mean, bloody hell, Caden got the opening goal off that run down the left, didn't he? So maybe just the game wasn't around the centre midfield. You know, I'd have to probably watch it back now. I'm just thinking back from memory, but certainly I remember thinking the same as you. Luongo isn't seen to be into this at the moment. You know, and Leeds had that counter-attack threat. I mean, that's why they scored the 3 goals in the 9 minutes. But I mean, I think there's lots of factors of why that happened. And look, but maybe the opening goal, Rutter. I mean, you look at it. We talk about Morsey being the grit. Actually, he just dangles a leg. My dad never could understand why everyone thought that Maradona goal in '86 was such a fantastic goal when Terry Butcher just dangled a leg. No one tackled him, and no one tackled Rutter, which is true if you watch it back. Terry Butcher, one of the hardest men in world football, just dangled a leg, and he runs through and scores. And it was a little bit similar yesterday to Rutter. I mean, a lot of people saying it was like that Cole Stockton goal. Rich certainly said that to me on the phone. You know, the against Morecambe the other season, but no one tackled him. Wolfenden couldn't get into him. He turns Burgess, and Morsey just dangled a foot. So, you know, it was just high. I guess it's just highs and lows. You're against the caliber of opposition, and the ball just. You talk about a sticky foot. The ball just stuck to Rutter's foot and stuck it in the net, didn't they?
I was so impressed with him yesterday. It's so impressive.
You would be at 36 million, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but you have to play to the price tag is one thing. You have to play, and that's probably what we're saying with the transfer market. You don't have to go and spend 10 million, but go and spend a little bit. Go and show a little bit that you might want to consolidate, but you still got the building blocks for next year.
So a question for you then is, I said Friday night, Perot is the kind of striker, if you've got a bit of money, you should be looking at, really. Do you think Ipswich wouldn't spend that money? Now, we've been linked to Armstrong, haven't we? Alan Nixon said Armstrong. Now, he's 8 million. That's what Nixon said. So not much difference between 8 and 10 million, is there? But we don't know if Ipswich are really in the market for those fees. We know we've got the money behind us, but we've only spent 1.5 on Hurst, ditto Taylor. We've got Amari in, and Brandon Williams, Slicker's coming on nominal fee, and Williams is on the loan. So, but maybe
do you want to be a number, or do you want to be a contender?
That's what we don't know. That's what I said at the top of the show. We don't know at the moment. Are we just here to consolidate? That seems to be the most obvious.
Well, we've got in the chat. We've got, Harp says the ambition is to continuously improve this season, therefore eliminating the pressure of somewhat. Next season should be playoffs minimum. Yeah. Dom says time to mix up the side. We've got Trevor. Would not be surprised if the Dapo gone by next week. We've got.
You're gonna have to pay money for goals. That's why Leeds have paid money for goals. So you got Rutter for 36 million, but you couldn't keep him in the Premier League, and now you've got an established Championship goal scorer in for 10. So we know they want to get promoted. Are we in the market?
And of course they do. They've got the parachute payments, and they're aiming for the automatics. Whereas Danny says consolidation is the money it would cost to get promotion, and then stadium upgraded Premiership standards are a king ransom. The stadium is already a Premiership standard. If Luton can be in the Premier League, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, exactly.
Portman Road is more than ready.
I suppose you're just talking about whether or not you actually grow the stadium out to accommodate the interest, but we've done that before and got relegated.
That's running before you've crawled, isn't it? Isn't that running before you've crawled? Like that sort of notion. Do you know what I mean? Like there was no running water in the Cobble Stand yesterday, by the way. None in the toilets whatsoever.
We had running water, but all the sinks were blocked up, so no one could wash their hands properly.
Yeah, we got some issues at Portman Road.
Look, if you're watching, town logistics.
Cobble Stand is very old, but yeah, I wouldn't be running before I've crawled, and Yeah, maybe this year is consolidation. I really don't
Do
know.
you
Max,
think?
go on.
Do you think the excitement of last season and promotion on the back of Sheffield Wednesday, going down the toilet, has just got everyone? Well, it's got everyone excited, and why not? This club done nothing for 20 years, so
No.
get excited about it. But once you come up against the Leeds, then we kind of got shown what's for.
We didn't. That's why I'm sitting here today saying this is going to really be a pivotal 5 days, because I've seen QPR, who apparently, according to everybody for the season, the worst of the worst. We were lucky to beat them, but we beat them anyway. We've seen Stoke, who have been splashing the cash like probably I was drinking WKD blues at a 17-year-old at a birthday party. Let's go mad. Let's get everything. We beat them.
We blew them away. We blew them away.
Absolutely. Sunderland, top 6 side last year. We contended with them. We rode our luck, but you were never out of the game against Sunderland. You were always in it. You were always in control of it at points. And even when you weren't in control of it, you were solid enough that they couldn't beat you. Then we played Leeds, who are, a parachute payment club, one of the best in the division, 17 million pounds worth of talent. If they don't finish inside the top 4, then I will be amazed.
Yeah.
And we traded blows, Matt. We traded blow for blow for blow. And
I liked it.
So I'm quite excited, because I think if you want it, this division's got nothing that you should be scared of. Nothing whatsoever.
No, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I think that's why I'm not. Look, don't get too down. I'm trying about a defeat or whatever. I'm trying to treat this season's a bonus, mate. Because I said to you on the shows last season, I didn't think we were going to get promoted, and McKenna wouldn't do it. And the surprise was we did. So it's a bit of a pass for me this season that he's got us. That this meant the game changer, Ashton, McKenna, and the Swiss squad of players have got us back into the championship. Fantastic. So I'm trying to treat every win as the same as what we would get a defeat, because we're not going to get just 4 defeats in a season at this level. It's going to be highs and lows. But I think there's enough in there to compete. Like, I thought we'd finish about 8th or 9th was my prediction with this squad we've got. Now we've added Brandon Williams. Question mark about him when he came on yesterday. But this is the week, isn't it? Can they add another 2 players? Because I think if you looked at the striking options yesterday, there was no Hurst there. You're going to take Caden off. There was Ladapo. That seemed very shallow to me at this level. Look, considering what you were watching in front of you, your Pirros, your Rutters, players of that ilk. We
had the chances yesterday. We even at 1-0 up, we've got a couple of chances directly after it where we couldn't get the ball out of our feet. We couldn't get the shot away. We created, Burns. We created chances. I mean, Nathan cut to. By the way, Nathan, statue after the Cardiff game, after the next home game, please, because we have something for you. Probably got some. I think you're the geezer that finished 3rd in prediction league. If you're not, sorry, nothing for you. Probably got some stick for this.
Emerson
I'll be looking
third.
Yeah,
Emerson
sorry.
Was third.
There was joint thirds. There was joint thirds.
Oh, it was a joint third.
It was a joint third, yeah.
Oh, I thought that other medal was mine for doing the presentation.
No, mate.
I took it home with me.
No, mate.
It's in the box.
I'll be looking at getting a right winger to replace Burns. He's been great for us, but doesn't look like he's got the quality for the champion. How did you see Wes Burns' performance yesterday?
The same as usual. Plenty of endeavour. Getting into good positions. Again, he's now finding himself against decent players. It does feel like we need someone else to be able to compete for that position. Not that I'm binning Wes particularly. Oh, Martin's down and he's back up again. WD-40 on that. I don't know about WD-40.
No, mate. I type on the keypad saying, have your say now. And then it's like the webcam decides to just go everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, there's been a lot on Wes's shoulders, I think, over the last few seasons. He had that, he comes in, he's had a really good season. Gets player of the year, etc. Still has a good season last season, but maybe in a promotion winning team, maybe wasn't as good as the season before. Been a lot of spotlight on him. Been a lot of our success has been around him, I think, and he hasn't let us down particularly. But again, you come up against Leeds, you come up against different players that played in the Premier League, been around the block a bit of international experience thrown into the mix. I think you're gonna to adapt across that is very difficult. So it might be that he just needs a little bit of competition there, or someone who can fill in. I'm not sure Harness is the fill-in option, to be honest with you. When he came onto the pitch yesterday, very good League One player. Whether or not he can cut it at the Championship, I'm not too certain. He needs minutes, really. Maybe he'll get minutes against Reading in the Carabao this week, and we'll see how he fares. But I thought Burns did okay, as well as I thought would be expected.
there's just nobody pushing him, I feel, at the moment.
That's it.
Nobody
Yeah.
really pushing him. That's what I feel across a number of positions. We just need somebody to come in and have the stats in the game that can say what they can do and really push on and push the player who's got the shirt at the moment. And not just push him, but also, give him some relief so you can take Burns off. You're bringing somebody on who's going to be just as effective, if not more effective, in different situations. And I just, yesterday again, I'm looking at the bench and I'm thinking 3-2, game changers. Game changer 20 own the football club, but what game changers have we got from the bench?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Nothing really that I would go, well, let's get him on, because I've seen what he can do, or I've heard what he can do, or I've seen replays of other times over the last 12, 24 months of what he can do. I don't have that confidence. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I was thinking exactly the same. Like, who would come on for Burns? I mean, look, Harness comes on, really good in League One for us, but it seems like the team is weakened now. If he was to come on for Broadhead, for example, which I think was the sub yesterday, and
you've got
Amari. Yeah, and then you got Amari, who's got some magic in his boots, I'm sure. But like you say, really, with flair players comes a certain rawness. Well, that was a great volley he had, wasn't it? That the Leeds keeper saved. And again, you take Hurst out of the mix, Jackson Ladapo, not quite in the same ballpark, is it? At this level. In League One, you'd think, and you're playing your Forest Greens and all, you'd think, oh, that's okay. We can get by with that and create, and lean on Chaplin a bit. Even Chaplin had a quiet game yesterday up until he scored a lovely finish.
Yeah.
I
was outside setting up. I've seen it, but I was outside setting up. Heard the roar, and I was like, they're not gonna do 4-4 on that side, am I?
Yeah, can you imagine?
I was worried for a minute. I really was.
And you would have missed it.
Really was.
I mean, Rich said to me on the when we was chatting last night, they kept Chaplin quiet, and where was he most dangerous? Around the box. Got a bit of space right in injury time when the game was probably lost, and scored. But again, who would come in for his position if he pulled up in that match yesterday?
Well, this is it, and we're going to come to the comments in a second, and we'll fry them out into the conversation, and I'll get Matt's thoughts, and we'll give my own thoughts as we go through them. So do keep them coming in. But on that, isn't that player complementary partnerships? And what I mean when I say that is George Hurst really complements Connor Chaplin in how George Hurst plays. Yeah. It gives Connor Chaplin space and intelligent runs to play off. Caden Jackson's a very different striker to George Hurst, which I feel, has to mean Connor Chaplin changes his game a little bit, because he's got a different partner up there. And I would like somebody like George Hurst who can work like George Hurst and give my flair players the same continuity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, well, we're talking about subs here, weakening the side, whereupon you want someone to actually come in and bring the same attributes that allows the creative players sitting just behind to still work their magic. I mean, they changed it around a bit yesterday. I noticed Hutchinson after all the subs. I noticed Hutchinson was in the middle for a bit, and Connor was put out to the left-hand side. I mean, look, they're still playing similar roles, but just in different places on the pitch, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, is that someone they're going to be looking for in the window then? If that's what we're thinking, I mean, you got the player profile of Jackson, which is pace and getting in and around the box and getting outside of players. Like you say, Hurst brings the press, he holds up the play. Ladapo, it's kind of a mix of all of those a little bit, I suppose, but he doesn't seem to have the same work rate as a Caden or Hurst. It'd be interesting to see what the profile of striker is if they actually do bring one in. I mean, I'm hoping, I don't know if there's been an update this morning because I've been out, but I'm hoping someone like a Dane Scarlett, who's looking like he can leave Spurs, and we've known McKenna has said, one of the best young strikers in world football, not just the United Kingdom. Perhaps there can be a deal to be done there. I mean, look, he played League One last season with Pompey, didn't he? So be interested to see where you'd go next.
Yeah, absolutely. Harp said we had 5 or 6 players championship ready when we were in League One. How many Premiership ready players do we have now? Maybe 2 or 3. Rutt had been appalling for Leeds until yesterday, says Mike D. Arthur, what match of the day did I see Casemiro scoring a Chaplin-esque goal?
Yeah,
I've not seen it.
Little header, yeah. Oh no, wasn't it? Yeah, a little control and volley. Yeah, that was it.
I've not seen it. Once Town lose, I lose a little bit of interest in football over the weekend. It's like I can't do it. Even if I'm positive about the defeat, it still gnaws at me. LG, the bug of the fan base are ignorant. We have the richest owners on the planet, but we can't spend more than we raise. We're not spending money this week. Well, that's technically. I mean, it's been a while since I've looked at the FFP rules, Matt, but that's technically. You don't have to spend what you've raised. You can make a loss. I think it's something like 13 million a year. I think the rule is still open, isn't it? Where transfer fees are spread over the life of the contract. So, for example, 3 million was spent this summer. If they've all signed 3 years deals, that's $1 million this year, $1 million next year, $1 million the year after.
Yeah, it's spread out, isn't it? That's
why Chelsea give like 50-year contracts.
I think that kid from Brazil, 7-year contract.
Spread it out.
Washington
so
from Santos,
you make
I think,
13 million loss a year, and you've only made 1 this year. You still got 11 million theoretically.
Yeah.
If, like I say, it's been a while since I looked at the FFP rules, and I can refresh myself for the coming 5 days. You've theoretically got 11, 12 million there.
Yeah, I think there's money to be played with there. Absolutely. So do we think, what do people think in the comments, and if you're coming on the show with us today, do you think Ipswich might break their transfer record this week if deal was to be done? It's only 4.5.
Yeah.
Taking back 20 years.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Adrian said we can get a striker from abroad. Mike D, for me, the only should jump on this start and get some quality in. We've got Mike D. The thing is, they've had all summer to prepare for this potential start. I hope Ashton has something to excite us coming up. Ben says
these deals, aren't they? Look, we know Williams was watching the game on the opening day of the season. It's only this week he's actually come in. So it's nice to think that there is, like, I don't know, a bit of a jam in, of a line of players, and they're trying to get contracts over the line. But again, if we want them, other clubs will want them. That's the thing, isn't it?
I'm with Arthur here. It says yesterday a bump in the road, but nothing hopefully to divert from the upward trajectory of the master plan. Harps Burns need to be sharper in front of goal. When did Burns last take the ball past anyone? Harps, Taylor will play against Reading. Can't see him starting the weekend against Cardiff. Which is a shame. McSaucepan. Omari is far too naive still. He may have been offside, but he needs to start playing to the whistle. Yeah, that's something I've picked up on early doors. Yeah. It's that youthful rawness where he's still
he got shaken off by Shackleton, didn't he, for the 4th goal? When Morsey goes up, which McKenna thought was a foul. I'm not sure about that. And the ball drops, and Hutchinson loses out to Shackleton, and he put it through to Sinisterra to score the 4th. He was a little bit lightweight there, I think.
McSaucepan, do we even have 4.5 within? Well, FFP gives you a £13 million a year loss if you want to go down, to the nitty gritties of it.
Money, everybody.
No, and the infrastructure again. It's been a while since I looked at it, and I'll look at it for the coming 5 days. So I'll give you up to date information. But the infrastructure doesn't count. Last time I looked, no, I'm sure it did. No. I'm sure like the pitch won't count in the loss. No, it's infrastructure, and you can spend as much as you want on that within the FFP guidelines. So
I'd have to go back and refresh my memory, but I didn't think that was the case.
No, I'm sure when I read it in the summer, it was the summer because I was preparing for life in the Championship. But I mean, yesterday feels like a year ago, so the summer feels early summer feels like it was 10 years ago. I think it's certainly there's maneuverability there. That's a good word. Maneuverability to do that. Before we bring in Stephen Perry, there is a link in the chat. Have your say today. Hadladki, 3 great games, and then yesterday. Now I was harsh, I'm going to say personally, on the Match Reaction show yesterday because I said he has to deal with the second better, or certainly him and Davis have to take command of that situation. Having watched it back, I want to say I'm sorry to Hadladki because I don't think he can do much with that second goal. It's an absolute quality ball in.
Great ball in.
For me,
Byron, wasn't it?
Davis has to take the command of the situation as the defender because it's a great ball. It's curling in.
Yeah.
And I've freeze framed it, and I might put it on Twitter later where the ball is. And when it hits the 6-yard box, it's not a chance he can come for that for me.
Yeah.
That was third goal, though. He spills it, and he is prone to a few spillages. I wouldn't hand him a cup of tea, Matt.
No, no, exactly. Let's go back to the second one then. So that was a great ball in from Byron. It was a really good ball in, and that's caused. I mean, that's the quality you're dealing with. Now that's caused uncertainty. The corridor of uncertainty it's got into.
Absolutely,
and that's exactly what it's caused because Hadladki has thought to himself, "I'm not sure I can come for that." And to me, because I'm on that goal line there, it to me looked like either A, Davis was trying to leave it for Hadladki because he kind of puts his hands out here, or B, you might do that as you're shielding it out for a goal kick. Put the mic next to me, shielding it out for a goal kick. I actually think he was trying to shield it out for a goal kick. And then, regardless of either of those two, Janonto runs in with the quality he's got, ghosts in on the round the back, and taps it in. So frustrating. I I don't know. I don't want to blame either player, to be honest with you. It was a great ball in, but maybe Davis will look back on that and think to himself, I probably maybe could have cleared that or headed it away.
Certainly, I can hear Gary Neville's voice in my head. Take command of the situation as the fullback. Don't leave it. Take command of it, and then have the conversation afterwards.
Yeah, I think they were both looking for the other to take command of the situation. And then, yes, well, what could you do? He's palmed the ball straight out to the £10 million man, Perot, and he gets off to a flying start with his Leeds career. So he's done good for us, Hladky. I've been impressed with him, but when keepers make mistakes, the whole everyone knows about it, don't they? Because it invariably leads to goal.
But that third is a bad mistake because he's palmed it into danger, not out of danger.
Yeah.
And I'd question, without really looking at the third one back again, could he have held it? Was it a fierce enough shot that he couldn't have held the shot? Maybe.
I mean, I'd have to go back. I mean, look, he'll sit down with Gil Martin, won't he, tomorrow, or maybe they've even done it today. Who knows? And look at what improvements they can be. But let's not get on someone's back just because they've had a bad game. And he's had, but look at the save last week when he's backpedaling.
Well, look at the second half. He played well second half. He made a couple of quality stops that kept us in the game. And I don't know. Maybe it's the life of a number two goalkeeper where you have a period of games where you play well and then you have a couple of games where you don't, and that's why maybe you're seen as a number two and not a number one. It's the consistency of the performance, maybe.
Also, he's a smaller keeper than Walton, isn't he? So who knows? Maybe Walton would have come for that ball that Byron would put in, and maybe Walton would have saved it. Who knows? I did like Hladky playing in this kind of you don't really pick this up on the TV stream. Almost playing in that sort of keeper sweeper role, wasn't he? So when the ball's actually in possession in their half, he really is. Martin's gone down again. It's like the two Ronnies. This. He plays that keeper sweeper role. I mean, look, few of everyone chatting around was yesterday was thinking, why is he so high up the pitch? But McKenna obviously has told him to do that, and we know McKenna has said previously he's got good feet. They're thinking he can get the attack started maybe more quickly than the Walton, the old two-touch Walton. So I quite like that. But of course, that does lead to danger, doesn't it? On the breakaway, on the counter, we saw last week at QPR. Elias Cher has that shot and he only just gets back to tip it over. But reminded me of Richard Wright vibes, that keeper sweeper kind of thing. He always used to get the attack started, didn't he? On the edge of the box.
Absolutely. And you're right. You can't get on someone's back after one bad performance. We all make mistakes. We're all human, and that's part of life, and that's part of football. Another player before we bring Stephen in, I have dropped the link. Have your say if you want to. Have your say this evening, 8:45 live. Before we because I will also use this first 38 minutes or so for the audio podcast this week. So if you listen on audios, thank you very much. Leave a 5-star review. But before we go, from on the audio, Burgess yesterday was somebody else who had a fitness test, came through it, played. I've seen, again, like a lot of things, conflicting match reports from fans in terms of how he played. Some have said he got found out yesterday. Some have said he did what he always does and plays well. How did you see his performance yesterday?
I think the first goal aside, I think we saw a little bit of what he was like that made me lose my shit last season when he got. I feel like he cost us games at Wickham and against Oxford. Wasn't particularly. He doesn't seem very strong. He seems a nervous tackler in the box. I get that. Might give away a penalty.
Well, it's a box, with referees that give away penalties.
Yeah. So I do get that, but again, he just seems to be a little bit how would I describe it? Soft-centered in the box a little bit, maybe. Look, he's a big guy, tallish guy. I mean, if you're not going to put in a tackle, then just the block, use your weight to try and push someone out, and he doesn't seem to be able to do that. And like we said earlier, Rutter just kind of ghosted past him to score it. I thought he did okay though. I mean, I wouldn't have looked at him and thought he's having an absolute mare here. No, I would say that's probably a bit harsh. I just feel like all the goals yesterday just seemed to come from our own problems, didn't they? I can't remember if it's the second or the third one where Clark back passes to Hladky, and Hladky just balloons the clearance, doesn't he, to a Leeds player? It might have been the second goal actually. That from that one. It was just uncharacteristic of a McKenna side, I think. That's the first time we've conceded 4 at home under him, isn't it? Second time we've done it, other than Charlton, in the whole spell he's been with us. But then, of course, it's the first time we're playing someone with some real quality in a league format competition. Like we played Burnley, didn't we, on their way to the Premier League? Good team. But that's the first time we've played someone with that quality. And yeah, we did maybe look, we didn't win the game. There's lots to take it from it for learning. I don't think the answer is get him gone. I made this mistake last season. You get someone gone, and bloody hell, you got Keogh playing next game. Then you want him out.
Well, you wanted him out when we signed him. I understand the
You've got to
signing.
learn from the experience, haven't you?
You have, and there's lots to take away. That's the positive. And I said on the Govs reaction last night that for a defeat, I'm really quite excitedly positive because we're not normally a team that makes the same mistake twice. McKenna is a very good coach. You can see how well coached the side is, and you've put on tape now as you approach the last game and the break. A lot for your manager to really review, assess, and then work on. And I've got every faith that they will work on those mistakes. They will work on what needs to be addressed, but also improving the qualities. And there was so much quality yesterday from us, and we left so many goals ourselves out on that pitch that you could say, hand on heart, Leeds could have won it by more. We could have easily won the game by a couple of goals. It was one of those.
It could have been 3-3 going in at half time, couldn't it? We were. The downside of being 3-1 down was we were creating. But there's an MMA saying, like in mixed martial arts, win or learn. So we didn't win. So what can we, like you say, what can we learn from it? And look, I wouldn't be pointing fingers at individuals over just 190 minutes. I mean, look, bloody hell, Brandon Williams comes on from Man United, was shaking off the ball like me. I was playing right back.
I felt sorry for him a little bit. I've got another match. I've got another match reaction. You can send your match reactions if you know you can't make a show in the live chat. You can send them in at martin@talkingtown.co.uk, or you can send us a video one or an audio one. Anything you want to send us in terms of your thoughts regarding Ipswich Town and the match, do send it in. Martin@talkingtown. This is on Burgess. Wasn't doing even the stuff he can do well yesterday. Their term is he's a clogger, a decent clogger, but he has no place in our squad trying to play football, sadly. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought he, well, then let's read. Well, yeah, okay. That's your opinion. I get it. That's the life of a sportsman. You know, we've said on this show before, they're not robots, are they? And in fact, when we hit that almost 50 goals in the last third of the season, he played in all those games. And, you know, I didn't see anyone moaning about him then. Look, I've moaned about him before. I thought he'd done very well. I'll give credit where credit's due. I thought he'd done very well. I think he's done all right this season. But, you know, you come up against a side, you know, like Leeds come down from the Premier League. We've come up from League One, and the two meet in the middle, and it's a baptism of fire, isn't it? But again, let's see what he can take from it. You got under McKenna, you've got to be able to, like you say, Martin, you've got to be able to correct your errors, because if you keep making errors, then you won't be in the side here. You know, all shirts are up for grabs. Yeah,
Harp's defense. The defense needs to stamp out these crazy passes to opposite strikers. JD last week, Burgess this week. Unacceptable for the championship. Max, major positive for me was playing to the very end. I agree with this, Max. Not letting heads drop. Team as character.
Those you're going to see those passes. They're bloody frustrating. Like Donatian passes straight to Armstrong. He shoots and he hits both posts. You're going to see it. These did it to us yesterday. There was one pass. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Gray to Eiling. Just passed it behind him for a throw to Ipswich.
Yes, he did.
So you're going to see it.
You are.
Just don't get pissed off by it, because it's going to keep happening.
And this viewer signs off their match reaction message by saying, "Time for game changer to pony up some dough."
Well, I would agree with that, because we've been told we have got money to spend, and you know, got these aspirations. I keep saying it. Look, it might be, maybe I've misinterpreted it, but I feel like if you're putting a Premier League pitch down, your aspiration is to get to the Premier League pretty quick.
But even Rotherham's aspirations, if you know, publicly would be, you know, we want, of course, we want Premier League football. Every club in the Championship would love to be a Luton and be a Premier League side. Like there's
well, you won't want to be Luton by the end of this season, because I think they're going to get a tonking.
So I'd love to be Luton.
Why don't we just try and make some steady progress until we feel like you can make the jump into the Premier League?
But they're going to come back down with all that money and set themselves up for a good period of success in this division. You know, there'll be a stronger team. They'll look at Leeds. They've come down, and instead of being sort of, you know, treated harshly for being relegated, you're almost rewarded in England for being relegated. You're relegated. Oh, here's your parachute payments. Go and spend £10 million on a striker. No problem.
We didn't have that when we got relegated. Hence, we went into administration.
You've just been relegated. You should be like feeling the effects a little bit, right? Like,
it feels to me like you should have to sell assets.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing Southampton coming down with parachute payments and still having to sell their assets. Like that Lavia's gone for Chelsea 60 mil.
Yeah.
Will Prowse for 30 to West Ham. That should actually be the punishment, I think. And if people want them, but they're players, of course.
I think Mick Swordsman's right. If we had an 8 million front line like they did yesterday, the game ends 8-4 to us.
Yeah.
Absolutely spot on.
We got a taste of our own medicine, really, didn't we? Because we were the Leeds position in League One last season. Oh, here comes big spending Ipswich. They've brought in players from the Championship. And then yesterday we go into the games, you know, man for man as underdogs. And so it proved we lost the game, but we gave a very good account of ourselves. By the way, we scored 3 goals at home against a team that was in the Premier League last season. So there's a positive right there. As we said at the top of the show, if I said to you, we'd scored 3 goals at Portman Road against Leeds United, you think you've won the game?
Yeah. Not getting beaten every week though, Gov. Come on, pal. Oh, what did I say? I didn't say we were getting beat every week. Oh no, in the Premier League.
Yeah,
oh,
if you went into the Premier League, it'd be miserable, right?
How much do you like your manager? Like, I believe McKenna would and Ashton would recruit well enough in the league above to not be.
I'd like to think so.
To certainly be inside every single fight. And who doesn't want to see their team in the Premier League? I don't understand that notion of, are we ready? Let's take our time. I want to get there as soon as I can. I want to see us play the top team. I want to see us on Sky Sports.
Well, yeah,
Super Sunday. I want to see that.
I think all Ipswich fans want that, and the fact that they've put the infrastructure in place for that suggests it's somewhere down the line. But is it this season or is it consolidation this season?
Well, this is it.
This is what we don't know.
They'll do what's best for Ipswich Town Football Club today, tomorrow, in 5 years' time. Whereas personally, sadly, none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. So I want to see my team there as soon as I possibly can.
It's an impatient culture now. Social media says, "Yeah, must have it now." No one wants to sit in a couple of seasons. You know what I mean? They want it now.
Do you know what I feel like? You say you want it now. Do you know what I feel like with Jack Taylor? I feel like a little kid and Kieran McKenna's dad, and I'm like, please, Dad, can I see my new toy Jack Taylor? Every week I sit there in the stands and I think, please, Kieran, can I see Jack Taylor this week? And every week he goes, no.
So what do you think is going to happen with him then? Are they going to give him more minutes at Reading? Seems likely. But what happens? And if he impresses there, do you play him again on Saturday? Or do you keep Luongo? Who knows? I'm just putting out some hypotheticals here.
I've given up trying to double guess it. I just feel like I'm in the stands, like I sport kids saying, please, can I play with my new toy, Dad? Please, I want to see what he's like. It's like every week, no, not seeing him this week. No. And when he does bring him in, I'm leaving early.
Yeah. And let's not fall into the trap that Cardiff at home is going to be like Stoke Mark II. Because a lot of people thought we would roll over Leeds yesterday. It didn't happen. And look, Cardiff beat Sheff Wed yesterday 2-1. They've already got a draw at Ellen Road 2-2. So I think it'll be another toughie. They're all going to be tough at this. This is what we're here for.
Well, this is it. Challenge. It's what we're here for. And we're here every week. This is Talking Town. And if you're listening on our audio, thank you for listening. 5-star review. The conversation continues on YouTube. So go to YouTube, Talking Town, #ITFC, and watch. Because I'm bringing in now the man, the myth, the legend. The beeper's gone, but the opinions still remain strong. Oh, I'm rhyming it now. God. So, of course.
Such a pro, aren't you?
I know. I surprise myself at times. It is, of course, Mr. Stephen Parry. Stephen, welcome in.
Hello, Steve.
Fantastic. How you doing?
All right.
No, at the end of the day, we should all be proud of the way they played yesterday. Yes, we had a silly 10 minutes. We all know that. We had a silly 20 minutes at Wednesday. We all know that. But it's football, and sometimes that happens. What I saw yesterday was a team that didn't give up. Right up until the 97th minute, they were, even when we went to 4-2 down, they could easily have said, look, there's only about 15 minutes left. We can't be bothered. But they didn't, and they still tried.
Right.
We can argue the fact that this person made a mistake, this person made a mistake. I look at this as the same as the QPR game. Should we have won that? Probably not. But we did. Should we have lost this? Probably not. But we did. But maybe a draw would have been fair for both of them. But you get more points winning one and losing one than drawing both. So I'll take it. Yeah. It swings and roundabouts. That game we could have easily won that game. Jackson had one blocked. Broadhead had one blocked. Burns had one blocked after 10 minutes. If we go 2-0 up, what happens then? If Burns hadn't got that shot blocked after 10 minutes, when we're already 1-0 up, what do Leeds do? I found it so interesting that Drame passed it back. Jackson picked it up, we scored. Drame was gone. I'm not having this, And to be fair, if Drame had stayed on, I'd have said we were won because the guy he brought on, changed the second half for them. He was much better than what he was. And I think losing Byron, bringing Drame on, and he realised he'd made a mistake by bringing him on, not just because of the pass back, but because he wasn't getting into the game like Byron was. And Shackleton came on and made a huge difference for them. But we've also got to think about it. It's levels, yeah? The strikers, that striker they had, what was it? Jorginho. He's on 60,000 a week. £70,000 a week. Let's be real. That's not even off our first team wage bill.
cherry picked from the Bundesliga, Steve. Yeah,
I know. You know, and you've got Sinister and Nonto, who still probably want to leave and have been told by their agents, no matter what, get back into the team. No one's going to buy you if you're training with the kids. Yeah. Get into the team, put yourself in the shop window, and we'll see if bids come in for you. And I guarantee after that game, people are interested again.
Yeah. Agreed,
people are probably going to and going, I fancy a bit of that. You know, 19-year-old Nonto, 20 million, bit of a punt. There's plenty of Premier League clubs be interested in that. Sinister, 100% pass completion. Bloody hell. Name me a player yesterday with a pass completion of 100%. But that's what I mean. I really want to go into the transfers of it. I don't think it's how much we're going to spend. Yeah. Everybody knows we could spend some money if we wanted to. I just don't think we are. And it's not because we can't, because we have got the money. I think it's the wages that are holding us back. Yeah. Because I think, in a way, I watched that Lives of Pitch because I like David Sheepshanks and I wanted to hear what he said. He brought that into it. And he said after the first season, we got into Europe and we brought in, the Serenis and people and the Finidi Georges, and the wages got bumped up. Everybody else was like, well, what about me? We got there. Now you bring these guys in and you start giving them loads of money. Where's ours? And it upsets the balance. Now, if we go out, that's why I think, there was talks about Williams having a buy-on. He's on 65k a week at United. We can't pay that and we'll go nowhere near that. And I think that's why it was pulled. I think he said, look, and I would say it, I'm on 65k a week here for the next 2 years guaranteed. Why would I accept a buy clause? Even if United don't want him. Will they extend his contract by an extra year? Probably not. Yeah. I think that might get revisited in January when United say, look, we're not extending your contract by a year. So if you want to stay there and take what they offer you, fair dues. I think that might get looked at in January. But right now, it probably wouldn't. And that's probably why it was pulled off the table. There might be an agreement in place with United that we've got a fee agreed. And further down the line, we discuss that again. But I think wages is what's going to, because we're not pegging 30, 40, people are saying, well, getting Armstrong. Armstrong's on 40k a week. We're not paying it. And he's not going to come here for less than 40k a week. Because if we pay 40k a week, you're going to get Hurst going, where's mine? You're going to get Morsey saying, look, we got here. And now you're bringing this guy in to replace somebody and, pay him more money. Where's mine? And I'm sorry, I'd be doing the bloody same. It's the discussion I had with Rich. You're not replacing someone with someone better than you and paying you more. You'd be going, where's my bit? And they're quite within the rights to say, where's my bit? Because if they hadn't done their bit, if you're replacing someone, that's fair enough. Yeah, I can get that. If you're getting a right midfielder to replace Burns, who's better than Burns, and Burns know he's better, then you can offer a bit more. But not, if our average wage is what? I think, what was it, about 13 million a year last year? Yeah. So you're probably talking 10k maximum for most of them. Yeah. Probably our most expensive, probably about 12k.
Yeah, in and around.
Yeah, you're not going to be paying £30,000 a week. You're just not. That's doubling the wage bill. And we'll go back to the situation we had, in 2001, where, was it 2001, 2002, where we had these big high earners coming in and it upset the balance. And I think that's why we're not seeing the big transfers, because the big transfers are big wages. If we can find a player like a Davis or someone or a Hurst who's going to accept a wage cut or maybe isn't on as much wages as, we imagine they are, because some of these websites can be a bit dodgy with wages, then fair enough. But we know what we need. We do need defensive reinforcements. We probably need a right winger. We probably need another striker. I think they're going to do some business. I think we're going to spend money. I could see 5 million for all three, this window. And they probably won't all be buys. I think there could be 2 buys and 1 loan. But I can see at least 3 coming in, and I can see us paying for at least 2 of them. But it all depends on the wages. And if people turn around and say, well, you can't win anything with big wages. Well, you can. We proved it yesterday. We could have won that game. That was a coin flip. That game was a coin flip. It's like you said.
It was.
I was laughing because you've said obviously we won't bring Armstrong. So that's Armstrong tomorrow at 5 p.m. confirmed. And that's we can replay Stephen Barry's clip. They won't be bringing Armstrong in. I just love that surety.
I'll take it the same way as I did with that other guy. You know, the top and bottom. If he does, yeah, I'll be delighted. I just don't see it. I just don't see us damaging the wage structure so much, yeah, to bring in a particular player. We could get a Kiefer Moore. He's championship ready, yeah. He's a similar mold of player, yeah, to Hurst. He's hardworking. He's good with his head, yeah, and he presses and he holds the ball up. And you wouldn't have to pay him anywhere near because he's free to leave. You wouldn't have to pay him anywhere near what you pay Armstrong, and you'd probably get more out of him. You know, there are players out there in that mold. You know, I think we'll be a little bit more not. It sounds pauperish that some people are going out and paying $5 million. No, Coventry paid $8 million for Sims. Right now, who'd pay $8 million for Sims? The guy's not scored a goal yet. Come on,
Yeah.
More goals.
I still would.
I wouldn't pay $8 million for him. Get a grip.
No, me neither.
3 games in. 3 games in, you can't snapshot a player and say, well, you know, those stats
Yes, you
from the
can.
previous.
Have you seen him play?
No, you can't.
He's the greediest player. He's the greediest. I've watched 2 Coventry
He's a striker.
games.
They're all greedy.
I don't want that in a striker. Is George Hurst greedy? If he sees someone in a better position, the ball goes in. The ball gets passed. He doesn't force his way through to try and score a goal. You know, he does it. He works for the team. I don't see a team player. I see an individual who wants to do it all himself. And that's not what we need. To get success, we need a team. I've always said, if you haven't got the best players, you need an ethos and a good team. Luton proved that last season. They didn't have the best players, yeah, but they had a team. And that was better than some of the teams with better players.
Yeah, very hardworking, Sam. We discussed this on Friday, didn't we, Mine? It's a fine balance, isn't it? You don't want to wreck the team spirit that got to you where you are.
I want to challenge it a little bit because I think players, and I can only speak for myself as a player, and I was never a great player. People who watch this show and know me will tell you that themselves. But the competitiveness, the desire to win a football match, if you bring in somebody who is a clear upgrade on what you already have, like Aaron Ramsey next week at Cardiff, if you bring somebody in who is a clear upgrade, money's money. That's down to the agents. That's down to the business people. That ain't down to me. I'm a player. I want to win football matches. This player improves my team.
I would argue that in one sentence. Every single player, yeah, from youth team upwards, has been told they're the best fucking players since sliced bread. Yeah?
Yeah.
By their parents, by their coaches, by their managers. So they all think they're Ronaldo. Every single player thinks they're bloody Ronaldo.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And then suddenly you bring in somebody else in who's getting 3 times, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm just as good as him, if not better. I've been told all my life I'm just as good as him, if not better. Yeah? And why has he got 3 times more than me? That's where the problem starts. Everybody thinks there's no reality in football as footballers. They don't teach reality because that's why there's so much of a drop-off. Yeah? When youngsters leave the academy, they go, what the bloody hell's going on here? Because they've been told they're the best thing since sliced bread since they were born. You know? And
but they're also not stupid, are they? They're also, like Cardiff. I don't know anything about Cardiff, and I've not done any deep dive into them yet. But I'm imagining Aaron Ramsey is their head and shoulders best player.
Yeah, I'd imagine they're paying him a lot of money as well. And
so I'd imagine players aren't stupid. This is Aaron Ramsey who's played.
But you don't know what's going behind closed. Cardiff's in a mess. Remember, they got him for nothing anyway. Yeah, so they didn't have a fee to pay.
He's still getting paid though, Pete. But he's not paid for Smarties.
If he would have cost them £1.5 million, that's what £15,000 a week they've saved. So they could add that on a £15,000 a week contract. Paying £15,000 a week, his fee for the first year would be effectively $30,000 a week. You know what I mean? So if in a free transfer, you can go a bit over because you're not paying the upfront fee. Yeah. All I'm saying is, I don't know the situation at Cardiff. I suppose if they're winning every game, yeah, some of the players will probably give it a bit of slack, but they're not winning every game. I can imagine some players sitting there going, why is he on 30 grand a week and I'm not? But they're not going to say it.
I just speak as I would feel as a player.
I don't think
speak for players.
Even when Finidi George and Serini came in, we never heard players say it. But now we know it did happen. And there were people who were happy about it. But we never heard about it. They're not going to publicly come out and say, look, I don't like the fact he's on 30 grand a week. They'll moan to themselves. Yeah? And that's where little cliques form. They all start moaning to each other, saying, this is a bit off, isn't it? You know what I mean? And then things go wrong because people start going into different groups. At the moment, we've got harmony where everyone's together.
Yeah. Agreed, yeah, agreed.
If you start like breaking up that harmony and saying, well, bring in one or two players who are technically very good, may not work, like Finidi George. He was technically very good, didn't bloody work, you know, and Serini couldn't be bothered playing half the time, you know, so it didn't really work either, you know. So when we don't even know that that'll be a scenario. Like, look at Rutter yesterday. He's on 70k a week. Obviously, he's probably on about over 100k in the Premier League. That was his first goal. You know, I wouldn't say that was a good investment, seeing as he cost more than Erling Haaland. You know, I don't think it was a very wise investment. But if
that's a sentence, isn't it? Good Lord.
But it's true.
That's why it's a hell of a sentence, Steve. Steve, I've got to leave it there. Last thing. You got anything else for me before you go?
I just want to re-emphasize the point. It's not all about necessarily about quality. It's about the right people.
You sound like an investor, Steve, who's already giving us the pitch. Like, calm down, but it's not about the money we put into the football club. It's like
I do think we'll spend.
I love it.
I do think we'll spend, and I think we'll get the right people in. Yeah, I do think Williams will get revisited in January. I think we'll spend. We'll get the right people in, and I'm not sure about McKenna. Yeah, I don't think he's one of those people that if you dangle a carrot in front of him, he'll go off. I think he wants to build something. He keeps going on about building something and a project. And I don't think even if we don't go up, you know, someone's going to come in and say, if we've improved and they've offered him everything he wants, why would he go?
It's a great job.
If he's not being offered, if he turns around and says, I want this person, this person, this person, and they deliver, and he says, thank you very much, why would he go?
Beep, Changer 20 says Mike. Steve, we love it.
Other people have a say.
We love you. We appreciate you. All the best. Show is winding down. If you've not got on today's show, and Frank did pop on, then pop straight off. It's 8:45 live. Come on the show tonight, Frank. Anybody else, you're more than welcome. There'll be a live link. Rich and Vicky are with me. Go on.
I was going to say I agree with I agree with the majority of what Steve said there. We discussed it Friday in terms of the balance, team spirit, etc., being disrupted by new arrivals and money. But I think I would agree with what he said now.
But isn't that a bit like Leeds have had their well-known issues? But what Daniel Farke has done he's policed that dressing room and he's managed the situation really well. And you know, you're going to have always, whether it's about money or whatever, players that are got a gripe. I'm not playing, or I should be playing, or whatever. Isn't that when the dressing room polices itself? Your captain, your manager, the situation. That's when it really comes to the format.
Yeah, what's kind of the player power?
Yeah,
the squad chats. I would. I'd probably agree with that as well.
I do firmly believe that players view it as we're players. The business side of the game is done by my agent, and that's not anything to do with me. I pay an agent to do a job for me. He'll get the best. You know, that's how I think players feel. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a player, but that's how I would feel. That my playing is my playing. I can control that. The business side of it's got nothing to do with me. Yeah.
No, I would agree.
Might be wrong.
And I would agree on what he said about McKenna there as well. I think I said it in the summer. This is one of the best jobs in football at the moment in terms of, you know, what's going on with the club. The giant is awake. It's got promoted. You've got the stadium's changed up. You've got the infrastructure there. You've got the support of the guys in Arizona. Really good things are happening at Ipswich. You know, you're now seeing it. You go on Talk TV now. Didn't have that over the last couple of seasons, did you?
You can watch that back on YouTube.
You're seeing that now, peak time telly. You're seeing that branch out. You're seeing McKenna on EFL podcast. You're seeing him getting interviewed in the media, etc., etc. That's in the first month of the season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the wheels aren't off this car at all. The wheels aren't even wobbling. It's a bump in the road. We were told we'd have bumps, and it's just exciting to see us have a bump, come through a bump in the sense of how well we played at 3-1 down, got ourselves back. I'm just really waiting now as we end the show with anticipation of what this football club does next. That's the big word, anticipation.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to. I think Harp's put it in on the thing there. He said, "I'm already looking forward to next week." You know, off the back of a defeat. When I think about all the crap results we had under Paul Lambert, losing to bloody Northampton, the Swindon game at home. Do you remember the Scott Twine thing? I'm looking forward to getting back there next week. It's exciting. This is where we wanted to be. You ain't going to win every game. The prize is huge. You're now playing against ex-Premier League players. And, you've got to roll with, talk about heavyweight boxing. You've got to roll with the punches. And, the next round starts next Saturday.
It's not how hard you got hit. It's how quick you get back up. And
I think Ipswich have proved. Ipswich have proved, like, we've had real dark times. Here's my favourite again, Bristol Rovers. Everyone have a shot. He's mentioned it again. Away. Then we went on the run, didn't we? So, I mean, look, we've shown that we running towards adversity, we can change it up a little bit and go again. And I think, even though I hate go again, we're lucky that we've got another home match next week.
We are. And we're back live tonight, 8:45. Vicky, Cruncher and myself. Last word, team ratings. And of course, you wonderful people at home, welcome to join. It'll be a shorter show, probably half the length of today with this one, he says, in anticipation of being right.
It'll be longer than this show, everybody.
It'll be longer than this show, yeah. Rich will get on the soapbox. And poor Vicky, husband's a Leeds fan. So, spare a thought for Vicky as we get ready for tonight's show. Because
it's good to get her back on.
Probably having it laundered over.
Big shout out to Craig from Winchester and his missus. I wanted to go and talk to them yesterday, and then I started doing the medal thing. I wanted to meet them in their new Winchester gimmick rather than the Portsmouth one.
Yeah, much more posher now. You see, they only come over for a brief wave now instead of a talk. They're from Winchester. They're from Winchester. We love you, Craig. Absolutely love you. Look, we're done. We're dusted. That's the man from Del Monte. He's smiling despite the defeat, as am I. It's good times at town. The wheels aren't even wobbling, but we're back to live tonight, 8:45. Yeah.
Crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde